Hello there folks, welcome back to the Revell Mandalorian Razor Crest build series. This is the fourth part, and in this part we will be finishing the assembly on the model, getting everything put together and taking a look at the finished article. So we'll pick up where we left off and we will start getting all the landing gear together. Right, so start with this landing gear then. So I think maybe first off get the guns in place. These don't really need to be glued, they're kind of like a push fit. I just had a wee test earlier and they just kind of push into place and can be moved, sort of positioned whatever way you want. So I'll just leave them there, they won't be glued in place. And right, so starting to really come together just with the guns on. It makes such a difference to the ship. It looks starting to look like it's finished. Right, so landing gear. I've got the sort of three main sections of the landing gear here. I've got the front legs and the rear. So made them up in the earlier video and they've all been panel washed. So they just need to be glued in place, and you have to make sure that you're making sure that you're putting each side on properly, so the feet are facing back the way. So this is the right hand side one and this is the left. Okay, so after a bit of jiggery pokery, I managed to get those little side flaps in the right place. It's a tiny little gap that you have to fit them into. It's quite tight, I just couldn't get them to fit properly, but that's them in now. And next up we will take a wee look at the clear parts and get them glued in place. Right, so it's time for the clear parts now. For this I'm going to be using the Revell Contactor Clear. You don't want to be using any super glues, thin cement, anything like that on your clear parts, as you're going to run into problems with fogging and damaging the clear parts. So you want to be using something that's designed for clear plastic that won't damage it. So the one that I tend to go for is the Contactor Clear. There is better ones out there, Bob Smith Gold for example. I know a lot of people that swear by that. You also get the UV setting glue as well. But for now, this is what I've got and this is what I tend to use on the majority of stuff. So because of these parts are quite small, I'm just going to use a little toothpick, take some of the glue and just put it in a few spots where the clear part goes. Now this Contactor Clear, it does dry clear once it's dried, so it looks like PVA as you're putting it on, but once the glue sets, you won't be able to see it. So what I tend to find works well with the Contactor Clear is you put it on first, leave it for 30 seconds, a minute, something like that, and then put the clear part in place. Sometimes I tend to find if you put it on straight away and it seals it, the glue doesn't set properly and then it comes back off, so I tend to wait like a minute or so before I put the part in place. It just holds it that little bit better, so I'll give that a minute and we'll come back and we'll have a wee look once I go to put the window in place. Right, so I have given it about a minute or so and I'll just pop the clear part in place. And like I say, once that is dry, it'll dry clear and you won't be able to see it. So I'll get the rest of those clear parts glued in place and then we'll come back and we'll take a little look at where we are at. So I will go and do that. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so we've got all the clear parts in place now and the build is starting to look like it's finished. So next up we will be doing the weathering. Getting all the weathering done, I want to give it the impression that it's been flying, a little bit of damage to the ship, and yeah, we'll get those gangways in place once that's done, and there's just a couple of little bits and bobs that need to be added onto the body. So I'll go out and we'll start doing a little bit of weathering now. Right, so we're out here ready to do some weathering. So I'm going to start off with the Alclad hot metal burnt carbon, and I want to just add some streaking using that to the ship, which I'm using the airbrush here. Not doing any masking, I want to give it a kind of more natural look, so I'm just doing some little streaks along the side of the engines over some of the areas that would probably be sort of heat stained on the outside of the engines, a couple of parts on the main body shell. I've just sped up this footage a little bit, so just building it up super light. Don't want to go too heavy with this. So yeah, just working my way around the ship, around the engines, putting those streaks in, and just up the side of the body shell as well, over the top of the wings. It's so hard to get a good clear view of the whole ship while I'm doing this. My spray booth isn't the biggest, and like I said before, the ship it's about a foot long, about 30 odd centimetres long, so yeah, it doesn't really fit great when I'm trying to record. But yeah, so worked my way around with the burnt carbon by Alclad, and just like I say, building it really light, not heavy at all, like super thin coats. I don't want to go too heavy with it, and yeah, just going along the sides of the engine, building it up in streaks. So after the burnt carbon, I went in with some Tamiya semi-gloss black. I'd thinned down quite a lot, and just doing the same again, just doing some super light coats over the areas that I'd already done with the burnt carbon, just to give it a bit more depth, a bit more definition to the weathering. So you can see I've already done a couple of parts on the front of the wing there, so it looks a lot darker when I'm spraying it on just now, but it's because it's wet. Once it dries, it does lighten up a bit. So again, over the front of the wings of the ship, and just the same again on the sides, just darkening it up, building it up super light, and just doing it sort of up the sides of the cockpit as well. Just want to make it look like it's been flying. There's maybe been some debris hitting the sides of the ship, the front of the ship, and sort of tracking back over the bodywork. So going over some of the leading edges and just hitting it with that super thin semi-gloss black. And again, just going on the engines too. On the engines there are some like vents that run all round the sort of centre part of the engine, so I've been trying to do the streaks coming back from them to give it the impression of like some like exhaust almost like coming out of the back here. So again, just keeping it really light, building it up. Don't want to make it too dark, lose the metallic effect of the ship. So yep, super light, working my way around. Like I said before, it will look a lot darker here while I'm spraying it, but it does lighten up quite a bit once it dries. So then I'm just dragging it back from the front of the wings back across the top of the ship as well, just giving a look at some burnt sections, just some damage to the ship. I'm just pulling that all the way back, working my way backwards, and super light, building it up just to give it that nice weathered effect. Done sort of section on the side here, again bringing it back. That part there I went a bit heavier because I believe in the show the ship gets hit there, and there's a burnt section on the side just where that panel is, so I made that a bit darker just to give it a little nod to what happens in the show. Right, so we're finished using the airbrush for weathering, and we're going to do it a little bit more here. I want to give the ship a kind of dusty look because it's landed, so I'll be using some of these. It's the UMP weathering washes. I'm going to be using the light dirt and the concrete. So I will be doing this slightly different as I did the panel lining with the dark dirt. I'm basically going to be brushing this on using a flat brush, letting it dry slightly, and then I'm going to be getting a dry brush, quite a wide dry brush, and then I'll brush it in and sort of blend it into the body. So just brushing it quite liberally all over here and letting it dry in. So I've left it to dry for a few minutes, and I'm just going around with this big wide soft brush, and I'm just blending it in, try to work it into the model a little bit, and just so we don't have any hard edges where the wash stops. So just rubbing it in, and getting it looking a bit more natural, a bit less painted on. And as you can see just by going over it there, it's looking quite good. Get that nice kind of light dusty effect around the bottom. So now I'm just going to go around with the lighter wash, and I'm just going to highlight some areas and just to give it a bit of definition. So this is the light concrete, and it is a lot paler than the other one. So just going around doing the same again, just working into some areas, painting this on around the bottom of the ship, more on the leading edges and stuff like that. And we'll do the same again, leave that to dry and come back with a flat brush and blend it in. So got the flat brush here and just doing the same as I did earlier, and we are just working that in, trying to get rid of those brush strokes and blending it into the wash that's already on and into the model. So that's you went round, done all round the bottom of the ship and the landing gear. and as you can see, it's got that really nice dusty effect, like it's been sitting in Tatooine a bit too long. So yeah, really happy with how that has turned out. So yep, definitely recommend these UMP washes for that dusty effect. And now we're going to get these gangways attached to the doors, and I think that is the last couple of parts. Just gluing them in place. There's a couple of little struts on each side that need to go in to hold up the gangways. As you can just see me putting it in with the tweezers there, but unfortunately I didn't realise that my camera was not at the best angle and the engine is blocking the view there. So yeah, just getting those last couple of bits in, and it'll be all done. With these final pieces going in, that is us coming to the end of the build. So we'll get these in place, and then I'm going to go get set up and try and take some photos, and we are going to take a wee look at the photos and just give my sort of final thoughts on the build. And here we have it, folks, the finished article. Looks fantastic. It's a really great kit. Only a couple of little niggles with it, but that's to be expected with any kit. But it goes together really nice. No real fitment issues, and yeah, the detail in it is just excellent. Really big, obviously. It's, like I say, it's about 1 foot long, but yeah, I really enjoyed this build. Really enjoyed doing the weathering, and yeah, it just looks great. Also been really helped with the UMP washes, the panel liner and the dirt and concrete washes really gave it that weathered effect with the dust and the panel lines, and yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. In the future for this build, I'm planning on building a diorama base for it. I've got some of the supplies there, and I need to 3D print a couple of figures to go in the ship, so that'll be in some point over the next month or two. I'm going to make a start on that, so keep your eyes peeled on my Instagram and Facebook pages, as I'll probably post updates about it there. And if you've made it to the end of this video and the end of the build series, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to myself and to subscribe to the Ultimate Modelling Products YouTube channel. Also check me out on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok, and I will be posting updates there all the time. And I just want to say a massive thanks to Lee at Ultimate Modelling Products again for giving me the opportunity to make this build series. So yeah, just some more videos of the ship outside in the garden, and yeah, it just looks great. So yeah, check out UMP, check out their website and their Facebook, etc. And I will see you all in another video in the near future, hopefully. See you soon, guys. Bye.